Ah. Okay, there we go. I had to confirm it or something similar over here on the YouTube side. Okay. Hello. Refresh and go. And boom, it's live. Okay. Um, if for some reason you're watching a YouTube VOD, that was an interesting introduction. I've been trying to get this stream working up on YouTube because it was much easier to immediately start streaming to Twitch. Okay. That should be good. Now, can I do something like, no, I'll switch back over here. Oh, but I was going to, that's why I was originally checking, then I discovered that the YouTube stream was down. Um, let's see. Let's go to this, that, pause that before it starts making sound. Okay, copy the title. Boom. Nope, it's not working. Why isn't it working? Copy, paste. Dude. Ugh. Yeah, I figured the YouTube one out, but go figure now the Twitch one's giving me trouble because my title says test title right now, and I do not want it to say that. Okay, stream manager, that sounds right. Title, how do I change the title? Title, edit stream info. Yes, yay. Copy, no, paste. Get rid of test title. And now I can copy this. Oh, wait, no, there's no description on Twitch. Never mind. For that, and I don't know, just chatting for now. Ag, Catholic, Theology. App. Development. Yeah. Sure. Okay, done. So that should, yeah, there we go. Oh wow, that was really fast. It updated over here with the new title. Sweet. Okay. I think that's all of the technical difficulties that I have to solve immediately. Cool. So back over here, the Twitch stream is up and should be yeah, I'm just checking to see if the audio is synced because I recorded the video on my channel last night, and for a good, so I'm recording, this is my microphone right here, and I recorded that video with OBS instead of like recording with the camera and also recording audio and then like combining the two tracks in Premiere Pro or whatever. First video I just used the start recording on OBS since I was trying to learn OBS a bit yesterday in preparation for today, in order to go live. But yeah, so I think next time when I actually record a YouTube video, I'll probably record, because I was a bit surprised with the actual quality of the video. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, by the way, this is the YouTube channel that I created and just published this video yesterday. Hello. Well, yeah. And if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it. But what I want to do on this stream today is, first of all, get all the technical difficulties sorted out, as I knew was going to happen, but you can't really plan every solution out as a software engineer. You definitely know that. But here's the YouTube channel. There's the live tab with this video right here. Go ahead and watch the video if you haven't. I mentioned. Okay, I'll give a brief summary of what the video was trying to say, because I was trying to express my opinion that learning Catholic apologetics online, on YouTube, because not everyone's going to be able to go off and get a theology degree at a university and, you know, be vigorously tested on concepts and knowledge and progression, and understanding. So the most popular way, at least in my life, and I know I'm not the only one, to learn about the Catholic faith, dip my toe into apologetics, is on YouTube, or reading books. Those are the two mediums. I guess podcasts can be lumped in with YouTube, because they're kind of the same thing, kind of not. Podcasts can be published to other places, but just is the same thing. But all of these more casual, informal methods of study have a flaw that, like I said, with a formal education framework, they're going to be testing you, and you can go back to that knowledge and study it before your big test. And in studying, you like get a more ingrained understanding of the material that's been presented in your classes. YouTube doesn't do that, obviously. In fact, it does the opposite, where as soon as you finish a video, boom, there's 20 other videos, I think I said in this video here, talking about, or not talking about, but suggesting other videos, suggesting another hour-long video that you can watch after you just finish that maybe 30-minute video. And like I emphasized in the video, a lot of that information tends to go in one ear and out the other. Not all of it, and some of us, I can't say us because that is what the video was about. But a lot of people, that works for them, and they, like, I don't know, have a photographic, not a photographic memory, because you're like seeing and listening at the same time. But you have a very good memory, and you just have an innate ability to consolidate information and regurgitate it later. But now I can say us. A lot of us are not that way. We like watching theology videos, and, like, you know, maybe we do hear a pretty well formulated challenge to the Catholic faith, and, like, okay, well, now I have to go do my research, as you do as a Christian when someone asks you a question that you don't immediately know the answer to. And so you watch a Trent Horn video, for example, Um, and he does a great job. You feel like um, in the moment you like are really on board with what he's saying, and then like you go back to your friend, and then when you're trying to explain the video, you're like stumbling over your words. This is how I am, and it's hard because you're not in that formal education where in a class, in a university class, you might have mock debates or conversations with groups practicing talking about this stuff. But when you're reading a book or watching a YouTube video, it's just consuming that content. It's not practicing regurgitating that content, if that makes sense. So, um, what's the solution to this? Well, I've had this idea for a few years now that if you could just like everything, all of these videos that are already out there and are being constantly put out are like kind of loosely connected. Um, but it's really hard. First of all, if you're like completely new to the Catholic faith, I don't really have. I feel like I'm still very new to like trying to learn and process all of this complex interwoven theology. Um, and if you're not Catholic and you're like trying to say that Christianity is not complex or interwoven, you're kidding yourself, in my opinion. Um, it's not just Catholic theology that um, is so rich in history and beautifully interwoven. Sometimes not so beautifully interwoven as history goes. Um, but that's just how Christianity is naturally, um, and there's beauty in that. But it's a very abstract way of learning with YouTube because the knowledge is being thrown at you from a screen, and not all of it's gonna stick. Um, so the idea that I have is this app called, where is it? The window. Um, Actually, I can like point to it right here, and it like points directly to my screen. Boom. Um, Sorry. This idea that I have is to try and provide a sort of framework, and I tried to go into a bit of detail about how in this video that I made yesterday. Um, but I can't really go into that much detail because I've had this idea in my head for like a few years now. I'm like, wow, I wish there was this solution out there. Like maybe I could make something that tries and solves this. But it always seems so like daunting in my head, and I knew nothing about um, how to grow a community for an app idea like this. I kind of had the idea from the beginning that like making videos and streaming about it would be a potentially good way to start building that community for this app idea. But okay, I guess I'll go back over it. The idea is that this app would sort of be like a library, in a sense, where the library is empty at the start. And there's all of these resources that already exist out there in the world, and are constantly being added to and updated. So there's these references to resources. And so I'll take YouTube for an example because YouTube is a internet resource that has an API, so it's very easy to integrate with an app idea like this. but there's also books and other great resources out there that help with this whole process. But take YouTube as an example. Um, if I like, um, let's see, let's go to, I used a
Hi
Joe
guys, welcome to Shameless.
Oof. I use a Joe Heschmeyer video as an example in the other video, but let's
Welcome back to Shameless
say
Potpourri.
that you find a
I'm Joe
video that you really like. I use Joe Heschmeyer because I like how the way he presents concepts in a very logical, premise, conclusion, style a lot of the time. But if you really like a particular YouTube video and you're like, wow, that YouTube video was great. Joe did a great job of explaining this concept to me. But then maybe you try and go explain it to your friend or family member, and they like maybe bring up something that wasn't considered in the video, and like innately you're like, oh well, innately you're not going to be like, oh well, that disproves the video. You're like, okay, well, I don't really know how to respond to that. And then you kind of have to go watch another video, and then you kind of get lost and mixed up in this jumble of watching videos. And so, okay, so you have this reference to a video you like, and you want to start building a framework for yourself, like of my analogy was a library. So you're adding this resource to the library, and once your reference is in this quote unquote digital library, you can add, say, like flashcards, or try and test yourself on question objection answer format. In the video I talked about the Summa by St. Thomas Aquinas, how it's laid out in question, objection, answer, and it's masterfully done, of course. And that's, I didn't want to like you say in the video that like you'll be creating your own Summa, because that's not what it is. But if you add this video, and then you go into,
when I last left my house,
Matt Fradd's channel, and who would be a good one? Scott Hahn. Scott Hahn's episodes are typically very informative, dense. So a lot of YouTube content perhaps isn't like trying to teach you something. A lot of, for example, these Pints of Aquinas episodes are, sharing stories, and that's 2 hours of learning about someone's life story and personal experience, and that's very powerful. But occasionally, you'll have like this section here talking about the papacy. By the way, love all of the people in this video. Cameron, Matt, Dr. Scott Hahn. But if you like this would actually be a very good example. If you like this video in which I think this is, the title says Conversion to Catholicism, so it might have been after Cameron has already converted and is talking about his process with a lot of these concepts. But if you're watching this section on the papacy and you want to be able to, like, you hear something that like, wow, I really like that. argument or the articulation, I want to add this to my library. And so you have this app, the window. Did I even go over that? The name for I went over it in the video yesterday, but the name for the app is the window. This is sort of the icon mock that I have for it so far. But you add this reference to your library, and you're listening to the video, and like you can type out some of the things you're hearing, or like say it in your own words. And first of all, I mean, you've probably been told this, just the act of note taking, more specifically like writing something out, is very good for retention of information, which is why a lot of teachers require that their students take notes or like turn in their notes, stuff like that. Typing maybe isn't on the same level as physically writing out with your hand a bullet point or something like that, but you could formulate some things in this video about this section on the papacy. And given the nature of the people in this room, a lot of the arguments being put forth are going to be already formulated in this, question, objection, answer format. And so you add this reference to the library, and then you create your own flashcards, if you will. I compared the Summa to a flashcard. And it was a kind of funny, almost dichotomy, but they're very, like, you could put the entirety of the Summa on flashcards, and the flashcard stack would probably stretch all the way to the moon or something. But the format kind of lends itself to this, or if you're not really into the question answer, maybe it's just a definition. Like, what is the meaning of the keys would be like a question answer format. But maybe you like Dr. Scott Hahn's answer when it comes to how papal infallibility is understood. So you could create for yourself in the window app a note or a card or what have you on, how did Dr. Hahn explain papal infallibility in this instance that you really liked. And okay, moving on from this video example, say you do this with a bunch of videos, and like you're slowly sort of building up for yourself a notebook almost, but a library. There's a bunch of metaphors that you could use, but you have this, I'll stick with library. You have this library of definitions, question answers, objections, how to handle them. You have this all consolidated in one place. And this is why I use the flashcard analogy. You can kind of test yourself. Maybe instead of scrolling on Instagram for an hour, maybe you instead only do that for 30 minutes, and then you spend another 30 minutes trying to go back to your past cards, flashcards, questions, answers, and try and answer them for yourself. And so maybe you're getting the idea now. You're trying to create a framework for yourself using all of this amazing free content on YouTube that you can go back to, and it's an organized framework now, whereas before it was all just, there's this website, youtube.com, that throws content at you, and like one point of it will stick and everything else just kind of slides off or goes in one ear and out the other. And if you can give yourself that organizational framework, then that allows you to actually retain and understand the arguments presented. And now you can explain it a little better to your friend because maybe you've asked yourself this before, or it's mentioned in the video, but when you're explaining it to your friend the first time, you forgot exactly how to articulate the argument, and then you just kind of look dumb. I've been there. Okay. So that's the general idea for the app. I have in just the last 2 months, I've been I said I've had this idea for years, but in the last few months, every day, every week, I'm changing the design in my head. I've tried writing it on paper before, and it hasn't gone, or I've been successful at throwing stuff on paper. But then the next week it changes, and I think of a new way to do it all, or a new feature to be added. And it's been a great thought experiment to think about, and now I think it's time to start actually developing it. And so that's what this channel is for. Up to this point, this has been basically a recap of the video that I made yesterday. But the app's not made yet. It's going to be a free app should everything go well. And this YouTube channel, this Twitch stream, is going to try and build up that community. Okay. But so I was talking about making a library for yourself. The nature of again, Quizlet is kind of an easy example because you can see other people's flashcard sets that they make for each other. But it's hard to organize Quizlet because it's, anyone can make a flashcard set about anything. But if you're making flashcards for yourself in this framework that is explicitly for Catholic theology and apologetics training, you can kind of start to draw connections between different things, whereas, in Quizlet, a biology class flashcard set is kind of hard to draw a connection to a flashcard set someone made to help them remember the recipe for tortilla soup. I don't know. But that's, you can put anything you want on Quizlet. But if you have this framework that is dedicated to a certain topic, in this case, theology in general, which is a topic or a category that is innately interwoven and everything kind of weaves together to form, or maybe they come together like panes of a window. Okay, but I'll use that analogy. But they come together like single panes of a window to form this beautiful window. And the benefit of putting all of this in one place allows people to see, this is all in my head, but there's probably an ability for you to keep flashcards and notes and summaries of resources that you like private, but the default functionality that would be encouraged is for this all to be public, so that other people that are learning about the same topics, because everyone's trying to learn and get closer to Christ, and maybe they have their own faith journeys with that, but the advantage of being Catholic is that we have this unified teaching authority that, there is objective truth that can be achieved for a lot of topics. And not saying like everything's going to have a definitive answer. There's certainly a level of mystery that like surrounds the entire Christian faith. But okay, I digress. But if all of this stuff is public because people have their own videos and creators that they like or authors, I've been talking a lot about YouTube, but I mentioned I like books too. And if you add a book as a resource and you like make a summary on a topic covered in the book, you add a flashcard for a point brought up in the book, stuff like that. Then, and these are public, well then now other people can see these things, and there's this community aspect to this app, and so they can like it, and if a resource and a particular card or summary or set is like really liked, shown in the number of likes it's getting, then maybe that resource is a good resource, and it can be promoted and circulated, and the YouTube algorithm tries to do this, but views aren't everything, and likes on YouTube aren't everything. And the same for this app. But if this app is a framework that is centered on being faithful to the Catholic Church, then a lot of the resources are going to be interwoven like they are currently, but there's kind of like invisible strings connecting this video to this book or this concept and over here and what have you. So the window, it essentially is trying to make visible all of these invisible connections and encourage the actual retention and understanding of a lot of these free resources that are available to us. Books aren't free usually, but relatively cheap when you compare it to a theology degree. So there's my recap of the video and the app. And yeah, so what I wanted to do today for this first stream, I had I've written down the system requirements that I thought would best fit an app like this before. But as I said, just in the last week, I've realized a certain aspect or feature that has to change. And if you are in software development or just engineering in general, you know very well that you really have to iron out all of the details before you start building something, whether that be a physical thing like a house or a bridge, but it definitely applies to app development as well. So I wanted to first define what was it? Oh, by the way, I have made this Discord server. The link is in the description of the video I made yesterday. If you're on YouTube, then it's in the description of this live stream. If you're on Twitch, I don't think I added it to any page on the profile or anything yet, but it'll be there eventually. Um, but okay, let's see. But if you join this Discord server, I'm going to be having a milestone list, so it doesn't matter when you join. You can kind of know what's been accomplished in the past, and also what my next steps are going to be in the near future, or long term. And so, for example, right here, I can um, edit. I can get rid of this and copy the check mark because I am currently live. That's where this video is. So, go live for the first time is done. And okay, so now I want to define a mission statement for the app. So that's what this is going to be. And boom. So and I haven't done this before, so this isn't like this is what this channel is going to be. I will be working this out in real time. Okay. So I guess the first step to defining a mission statement would be to put into words, articulate the problem. So the problem is there are a lot of great resources out there for learning theology and apologetics, whether it be on YouTube, in print, etc. And are accessible to the lady. The problem is that a lot of these resources are presented in a way that does not encourage. I don't want to say not, like a video on YouTube is by definition trying to encourage understanding. Maybe I was going to say understanding, but that does not encourage retention of the presented. So yes, they are encouraging understanding, but it's probably not the creator's fault in every way. A lot of it has to do with the mediums that are being used. In YouTube's case, it's on this platform with a million other videos out there that are all attractive and that sort of thing. Okay. Let's expand on this a little bit. Because of this, people, no, I'll keep it as people that are trying to learn theology, especially those that are just starting their experience with like Christianity, or apostolic churches in general. Feel like they are in over their head. And that the learning curve is too steep. I think that's a good definition of the problem. The solution. My OCD is kicking in. Okay. The solution. The window. The window will be an app that gives a framework to all of these sources of information, YouTube, books, etc. And provide a opportunities to test oneself, to create, I'll say like study resources for themselves and for others in a way that does promote retention of information. Concepts. Okay. I think that is it for the solution. And now we can go to the mission statement. Okay. Essentially, this is going to be a rewording of the solution. Is this still in heading 2? Yes, it is. Wow. Normal text. There we go. The window serves those who desire to grow in knowledge and understanding of Catholic faith in a way that informs and grows their relationship with God. The thesis of the window is that I have to mute for a second. Okay. Okay, I'm back. And let's see, let's finish this off and then I will probably be done for the day. I was maybe hoping to get to these. And also, if you're not familiar with development concepts like user stories or system requirements. I will be providing context for all of this, all of these concepts as I go, because this channel is also going to be educational in that way, I guess. Okay, so last little bit. Um, dun, 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 dun. It's okay. So I wanted to do this first sentence to give context, and then okay, let's read the problem again. There are a lot of great resources out there for learning Catholic theology and apologetics. Problem is that a lot of these resources are presented in a way that does not encourage retention. Because those people are trying to learn Catholic theology, especially those that are just starting their experience with Catholic Christianity. But feel like they're in over their head and that the learning curve is too steep. So how can I reword this? I think I can just take this, like, combine the first and last sentences in a way. There are a lot of great, there are numerous great resources out there for learning Catholic theology and apologetics, whether it be on YouTube, in print, and other formats. And they are all easily accessible to the lady, but are, there we go. This end of the sentence works well. Presented in a way that does not encourage retention of information concepts presented. The window is an app that will give a framework to all of these sources of information and provide opportunities. So yeah, I guess that's what it is. The window, say, is an app that gives a framework that provides a framework to all of these sources of information. I can get rid of this now because I already mentioned it. And provides opportunities to create study resources for to create self-made study resources, and that messes up the rest of the sentence. I can get rid of this in a way that promotes retention of information and more complete understanding of theological concepts. I think that's good. What is this? People are trying to learn, especially those that are starting, but they feel like they're in over their head and the learning curve is too steep. Compound sentence. Boom. Okay. That is what I was trying to accomplish today. And I can now put in like I said, if you join the Discord server, I will have I'll be updating this milestones channel I think it's a channel. And this was done on, what is today anyway? 30th. 3:30. What's the shortcut for this white check mark? Oh, I don't want to type that out. The X was really easy to type out, but yeah. Go live for the first time. Yeah. And boom, there we have it. If you tuned in to watch this VOD, then this is the very first stream. There were some technical difficulties at the start, but we made it and we accomplished one thing. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where this goes. Stay tuned. All right, I'm ending, and today's a Sunday. All of you have a great Sunday, and no matter when you're watching, have a blessed day.